Yeah. Pittsburgh. Let's get it. Let's go. 4-1-2.
If you steal a gang, then you bang, 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 bang. If you with the team, then you gang, bang, gang, bang. If you steal a gang, then you bang, 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 bang. If you with the team, then you gang, bang, bang. If you steal a gang, then you bang, 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 bang. If you with the team, then you gang, bang, bang, bang. If you steal a gang, then you bang, bang. If you with the team, then you gang, bang. I'm a Pittsburgh Steeler, black and gold is in my veins, and I'll ride for my city. You can see that in my face. 3 rivers over 2, you can come and get a taste. Teams mad, we got them ring. It's a lot to let them hate. Run the game, we are not the same. Tomlin hold the reins, it's insane. Benny got the ring.
Got you.
Shit was acting up. What up, Big Jim?
Hey, what's happening, Chris?
You know me, bro. Deflecting haters lately, bro. Yeah, a lot.
Oh man. Who are you telling? Who are
We had
you
a lot.
telling, man?
I've been battling.
Hey, and you know what? With the haters, man, that's how we're gonna kick off this week, man. Recapping week 14 against the Buffalo Bills. Steelers, man, we take 2 straight back-to-back losses, man.
You did.
What was everyone's thoughts? I know, Chris, you missed last week, so I'm gonna start with you, man. What did you think about, how everything turned out, as far as with just the back-to-back loss, man? This is unexpected to me.
I mean, I say last week was more unexpected than this week. I'll give you that. The Bills are not asleep. They're not a bad team. You know what I mean? They come full force. That new quarterback they got, man, he stepped his game up though. But I mean, what do we have? We had, who was it? Oh man, just slipped my mind. They only had one receiver destroy us, literally one.
Stephon Diggs. What he had? Yeah.
I mean, he literally destroyed us. One receiver, and the part was though. Yeah. I mean, literally, I watched it happen and unfold. Soon as I seen Blacksmith start limping. You know what I mean? We're already on our 3rd string linebacker. Now he starts getting injured. He's injured now. So now he's limping. So now we're playing with a 3rd string injured linebacker. And they just tore that middle apart, bro. That's all they did. I mean, we couldn't get enough pressure in there on him. I mean, he sat back there and tore us up. I can't say nothing else about it. I mean, Connor just came back. You know what I mean? So you got to look at it that way. He's not getting used to being hit yet. You know what I mean? So I mean, he got to get back in the flow. You know what I mean? We had a couple other guys just come back. I mean, like I said, Blacksmith was banged up. We're having an issue with catching the ball lately. I mean, I think we're in a rut. I mean, ruts happen. I ain't never seen so many fans go from Super Bowl to fuck like so fast. Like I was like, whoa, like I don't know. I mean, you have your good games, you have your bad games. I mean, what are you gonna say?
Yeah, I mean, it happened fast. I'm gonna kick it over there to you, Jim. I know last week we actually had the opportunity to talk about this, and I know you said Josh Allen, he was going to be the most important person that we were actually going to have to stop, and that we also needed to keep an eye on Stephon Diggs. Diggs, he had 14 targets, 10 receptions for 130 yards and a touchdown. I know he was definitely Buffalo's player of the game. What was your thoughts on, how the game and everything played out on Sunday there?
Hey, you can't win them all, man. Hey, I look at 2 great teams. I think Buffalo and the Pittsburgh Steelers are really even. If you switch uniforms, I wouldn't be able to tell either team apart, man.
Yes.
If they played 10 times, it'd probably be 5 wins and 5 wins. And I agree with Chris. The difference in the game is Buffalo had a go-to receiver and we didn't. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs been around each other a couple years, and man, in the heat of battle, man, it's so great to have a receiver where where he's gonna be. You ain't even got to see him. You just throw the ball out there. He's gonna be at a certain spot at a certain time, and I think that was the difference, in the game, along with Buffalo playing at home and that home field weather that they had up there. So it was a great two great teams. It was a great game. Somebody had to lose.
Yeah. And what I believe this is Stephon Diggs. This is his first season out there in Buffalo. So, he wanted to show that he was a primetime receiver, and baby, he's been showing it. He's been balling, all year, and it seems like we kind of, fell victim to, his ref Sunday night. I definitely agree with both of you guys. Buffalo, they're very similar to us. And, there's been a lot of games that the Steelers have actually had, this season that it's came down to the wire where it's been anywhere between 3 to 7 point split, and the deciding factor of who's going to win those games. And that's pretty much what it came down to. I believe what it was, was it 8 points or was it 11-point swing at the end of the game? And, we had an opportunity to come back. And then I believe Ben, he chucked up that pass to James Washington, and it got intercepted. And that was kind of like, the end to, everything there. But, as far as, with the production, like you said, Chris, it just seemed like they weren't able to get anything going. It was like they were just in a rut. Like what Ben had 187 yards passing, only 21 completions throughout the game. We weren't able to get the running game established, and that's something I want to talk to you guys about. But transition over to the next topic is some of these turnovers coming from Ben Roethlisberger. Again, we just talked about that one interception that he just threw up at the end of the game to James Washington. But prior to that, early in the game, I believe this was in the end of the second quarter. He's trying to force the ball into coverage to Juju, and he throws a pick six. What was everyone's thoughts? As far as with that, I'm seeing you're shaking your head there, Jim. Let me know what your thoughts were there.
Hey, you're right. Thanks for correcting me. Their chemistry with Diggs and Allen was so good. I forgot this is only Diggs' first year coming from Minnesota. I still can't believe they let him go. But hey, Buffalo got a great secondary, man. They pride themselves on the secondary, and them guys, man, when their back foot hits, they're coming forward and they're looking to pick. Anytime Josh Norman is on your bench, coming off your bench as a nickel or dime package guy, you got a great secondary. They're ball hawks out there. And, I know Soon's been through that ball. I know he wish he had it back, man, but that's what you're supposed to do when you're a great opportunistic defense. And that's what the Steelers have too. I don't think we got any turnovers in that game. We usually pride ourselves on getting turnovers. So if we play Buffalo in the playoffs, maybe it'd be our turn to get a pick six and win the football game.
Yeah. I mean, the turnovers, they were very limited. I believe we only had one sack the entire game, and that actually didn't come from TJ. So it looked like it was a streak that he had there for a few games that was broken. Mike Hilton, he continued to ball last Sunday, and he was the one that got the only turnover with that interception, and he was able to collect there. Chris, let me ask you, what's your thoughts as far as with Big Ben? It seems like he's averaging at least an interception a game. What's going on here?
All right, here we go. At the beginning, bro, he was good. He was on his cake. I think them 4 games or them 3 games in 12 days, I think they just wore his arm out, bro. He's an older guy. I mean, he's not one of these young pups on the field. He's a hell of a quarterback, but there's only so much your body can take at your age. I mean, the one thing you can't beat is time, bro. I mean, that's a fact. So, I mean, he's a hell of a quarterback, but I mean, at his age, I mean, that many games throwing that many passes for over 250 yards a game. I mean, bro, that arm's tired, bro. It's tired. And it's not like we have a backup to give him a break. I hate to say that, but we don't. We don't have a backup at all. Not one that we can, put in there and be like, all right, there it is. That's not hell no. We put it in there like it's biting our nails. Oh shit, here he comes. So I mean, like Ben really got a hell of a responsibility on him, man. That's a lot of weight on that shoulder that he's throwing on. Yeah. I mean, plus he was taking some shots these last couple of games too. It's not like he's being untouched. So
yeah, he was sacked this past game. I think that was a streak that he had for a few games
yeah,
that was broken
he been getting
also.
hit, but he ain't been getting. I mean, he been being rushed and running. He's been moving. That shot. I mean, that he took that shot, man, and it was. I mean, you can see he felt it. It's like, I mean, there's a lot adding up, man. I'm not going to say that he's a bad quarterback because he's one of the greats. I mean, I'll give him that all day. He's definitely a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's going to make it there. Nobody had a game like him at all. Nobody had a style like him. But in an aspect of things, I mean, he's getting older. I mean, it's time to maybe start looking on who you want to pass that torch to. And so far on his aspect, he hasn't found anybody he likes yet. I mean, honestly, in every aspect, any interview you take and you listen to him, he literally says, yeah, we have some good play. He never really has taken nobody under his wing yet.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you actually just made that comment because, a lot of these top tier teams, even some of the teams that are at the bottom, it seemed like, a lot of these veteran quarterbacks are, mentoring a lot of the younger quarterbacks and preparing them so that when it's their time and it's that next man up, they're prepared. I mean, just look at Jalen Hurts out here in Philly. Like, he stepped in for Carson Wentz that went on the bench and was able to walk out there with a W. Look at what's your man out there in New Orleans, Tyson Hill. He's doing the same thing. I'm looking at a lot of his footwork, a lot of his pocket control, how he's actually reading his progressions and getting rid of the ball. Like they're saying now, they don't know if it's him or Breeze. Yeah. So
the backup quarterback is key. They need a break. Every player needs a break. You mean they need that little? You mean they take a shot? They need a chance to get off. You need that backup quarterback to come in there, bro. You mean he needs that caliber quarterback? We need that. I mean, it's not like we can take it back to the times we had Charlie Batch on the sideline for what? How many years was he on the sideline? Is a backup quarterback just killing. We ain't got that no more. I mean, we didn't need no mentor quarterback. We had Batch. We bring in a new quarterback. He trained him, kept him moving. Next quarterback come in, he'll help train him to the next quarter. We ain't got one of them no more. You mean? We have a Batch skin, but we don't. So I mean, we need a backup. I mean that.
Yeah,
well, being a mentor's never been Ben's strong suit. He's like Brett Favre, man. You better get it how you get it. Aaron Rodgers will tell you that. But Ben has always been a good friend and mentor to Josh Dobbs. But unfortunately, the Pittsburgh Steelers coaching staff see Mason Rudolph as the backup, and Ben and Mason have absolutely no relationship. But him and Josh Dobbs from J1, they've always had a pretty good relationship. So, Ben's pouring a lot of stuff into Josh, but the coaches don't see him as the backup.
And you know what? It's interesting that you said that because that was one of the things that I actually wanted to touch on this week's episode with you guys. Again, is digging in a little bit deeper pertaining to a lot of the lack of offensive production. As we're talking about it, it seems like the Steelers are struggling where, we're not able to convert on third and fourth downs and short yardage. We're having a difficult time running the ball. Why isn't Josh Dobbs? Why isn't he suiting up on game days? I mean, he seems like he's someone that knows the offense. I'm sure that there's a plethora of trick plays and things like that would suit to his skill set. Why isn't he not getting an opportunity? I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Jim?
Well, I agree with you 100%. He's a mobile quarterback, played at Tennessee, could run, could throw. He's smart. He's he's one of the smartest guys on the planet.
Yeah.
And you have somebody in there that you can just put in there. I mean, they got Canada now as the offense a quarterback coach. He got a lot of little gadget plays and stuff like that. Just having Dobbs on the field makes the defense have to prepare a little bit differently because you don't know what they're going to do. But he doesn't even dress, so that's out of the window. Listen, the Steelers invested a lot of money, a second round draft choice in a Mason Rudolph, and or a third round draft choice. Coach Tomlin and Fichtner and those are the guys that really like Mason Rudolph. I think the team lost confidence in Mason last year, and you can even see it a few times he's gotten into the game. The team didn't have that much confidence in him. When Ben got hurt for a few series, earlier in the season. They had no confidence in Mason Rudolph.
And what's your thoughts, Chris? I know we're talking about, Josh Dobbs potentially, maybe getting more into the mix and why he's not, being able to suit up. What's your thoughts as far as with that? And, also to touch base on another thing that, is flying around here in the rumor mill here in Pittsburgh, is potentially the Steelers taking a look at Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, I heard that.
I mean, we're talking about we can't get a yard or two. He's someone that, is available. So what's your thoughts pertaining to it?
Let me start with the first thing. Dobbs, and I'm going to tell you right now, the reason that Dobbs ain't playing is because Dobbs is Dobbs. He's a mobile quarterback. Pittsburgh has never had a mobile quarterback. Look at Cordell Stewart, mobile quarterback. Boy was nice. He was good with his passes. That's why we had so many trick plays with a minute, because he was a hell of an athlete, period. But they would never give him the reins due to the fact that he was a mobile quarterback. Pittsburgh has always been a quarterback to sit in that pocket and chill. Their entire offense is based off of it. They don't have pulls. They don't have options. They don't have none of that, because we've never had a quarterback that does that.
Yeah. See, but you know what? If you really look at it, we've always stashed a mobile quarterback usually that can do some of these things. Like if you look at Dobbs,
always the secondary quarterback, always a secondary quarterback. The only difference is on this one is they want Rudolph to be something he's not. They're looking for Rudolph to step in the pocket and be a stand-in pocket kind of guy. Rudolph he has an unorthodox style. Let's put it that way. He tries to run from the pocket, but he's not really a mobile quarterback at the same time. So that's why every time he gets in there, it's not that he's a bad quarterback. He does not fit the offense.
Good point.
You have to put somebody in a spot that they're useful. You know what I mean? If I can't put you if you're 6'7", 295 pounds at the wide receiver position. You know what I mean? Like everybody has a spot where they're supposed to be at. So you can't put somebody that wants to run left and right and get out of the pocket in an offense that's only able to protect a pocket. So that's answers your whole Dobbs question right there. That's the whole reason he's not playing. On the Marshall Lynch thing, I put that whole Marshall Lynch thing on the same thing I put Harrison on, bro. Rumors and suspects and dreams of anybody that said something. You know what I mean? That's never ever going to happen. But on another note on that, the Dobbs thing though, but that's exactly why he's not playing. That's why we never take any running quarterbacks. Think about it. Like Terrell Pryor. When Terrell Pryor came free, everybody, oh my God, we need a backup quarterback. He can run, he can throw. He's from Pittsburgh. Let's pull him in. But everybody was amped for it. He could be another Cordell Stewart because he's a wide receiver. He can catch the ball. Everybody was amped. They won't take a running quarterback. We won't. As one, I mean, literally look at every time we've ever taken anybody. Name one time and how long we've taken a running quarterback in the last how many drafts?
No, yeah, I mean, you're making a valid point. I know it's not a situation where they gave the reins over to someone that's been mobile since we probably could say Cordell Stewart. But my whole thing is,
he was
like, if it is a situation where you have get a few plays and dial it up and get someone out there, to convert on a short yardage situation, if they can do it. I know you said, Dobbs, he's not the most efficient pocket passer, but he can stand in the pocket. He can scan the defense. He's just a little bit more mobile where, once the pocket does break down, he's mobile enough to get up out of there and stretch the play and make something happen.
Here's what they need to see.
I just feel like he should be getting his opportunity.
Yeah, here's what they need to see with him, though. Every great offense in the NFL with a wide receiver package like we have has had a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
Name every great one. I promise you right now. I'm not talking. I mean, you can go back and find some ones that were mobile, but stayed in the pocket. Like, you mean, if you want to go way back, like Joe Montana type shit. But for the most part, nowadays, every time you like Brady, people listen for what you think. Brady is mobile. That boy get around that corner, and that's how he hit them targets. Now, what if Ben was mobile? You mean you're giving these D-backs a whole nother position because now he's running. So now they can't just sit back here and wait. They got to lean up in case he tries to come. Now you're opening other pass positions and shit. You know what I mean? like the Ravens right now. That's why their offense works for them so well, because he moves so goddamn much. They don't know where it's going, who's going what, and who's going to, because you're scared. Because the dude can move.
Yeah, or even Baker Mayfield, like he's been showing over the past couple of days. Like,
but that's what we need. We need that. So a Dobbs is honestly what the Pittsburgh needs, but they're sitting behind on it. Don't get me wrong, though. You mean I like Duck because Duck moves a little bit too, but he knew how to pull it out. You mean, but he just didn't have it in that arm. You mean, I love that dude to death, but he didn't have it in his arm. He didn't have the full amount. So that's what happened with him. But that's why everyone lost it with. I mean, where they're at right now, they're second. I feel we need to drop the second string and go right to the third and look for another third. You know what I mean, or another second. We need to fit something else in there. Obviously, you can't broke something you can't fix something if it keeps breaking. Every time you put this dude in there, it's a failure.
Yeah. You know, I hear you. And anything else you wanted to add to there, Jam?
No, I think Chris covered it all, man.
Okay, man.
You agree? I mean, you know the history of football pretty good, bro. I mean, you know a lot of shit. Do you agree on the Pittsburgh with their quarterbacks? I mean, can you think back to any drafts?
Totally. Totally. From Neil O'Donnell all the way, Mike Tomczak. I mean, you just name it, you know.
Tommy
Graham.
Gunn. We can bring Tommy Gunn.
Tommy Gunn.
We talked about him last week. We definitely talked about him last week. I hear exactly what you're saying. My thing is, like I said again, even kind of like in the situation with Marshawn Lynch, I think like a lot of people, as soon as you say his name, they're like, oh, he's washed up, you know, we can't throw him out there. And I'm like, we're not talking about production over a whole game where he's getting 15 to 20 carries. We're talking about maybe 4 to 5 carries a game.
Listen,
you know,
he's still nice though. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah,
he was one of the greats. Even if he came back, he would still be nice.
Yeah.
You mean you're that dude? He's one of them amazingly. He's like a Barry Sanders. He's just blessed with skill. I mean, it's not like he trains the hardest. It's not like he puts his work in, but it's not like he's just naturally an athlete blessed.
Dude. But don't forget, you know, I believe he was with the Seahawks last season. So I mean, he still has a lot of ball in him. Like by my understanding, the Oakland Raiders, they had him the season before last. And they wanted to re-sign him last season, but he decided to sit out. And I guess he signed on with Seattle maybe around the end of the season. It just didn't map out. But he's saying that he's ready to go. He's saying that he's healthy. He only wants to play for a contender. And if it's a situation where we need a yard or two, we're right here. It's coming playoff time. Get him out there. I think he's going to be better than us keeping maybe the Edwards brother and starting him, you know, on certain days.
But we're not going to get him, bro.
And if we get somebody like him, maybe they might start to get, Derek Watt maybe into the mix where, you know, maybe he can get out there and start making some blocks because we're still not using him, and I'm still scratching my head as to what direction we're going in, with his skill set.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, I just feel that that's still just a fantasy. That dude is not coming over here. We're not getting him. I just don't even see him fitting into our offense. I mean, the way that he moves and shit like that, he's a hell of a player. I'd love to have him, but I just think that that's like too far off for us. Like, we would never be able to do that. They're putting a lot of backup in Snell and all them, and I mean, they are good running backs, but they're not stand out. You know what I mean, that's the issue. We need somebody that when we know we give them the ball on that fourth, we're gonna get that 1 yard. I mean, we need that.
Exactly, and that's the reason why, like, I'm more adamant as far as like with this signing. Jim, let me ask you, like, what's your thoughts? I know I've been telling a lot of people, the Steelers really haven't had a veteran running back to even mentor some of these younger backs for the past few years. If we look at it, the last veteran back that's actually came, into the organization, from what I actually seen, maybe was a D'Angelo Williams, but Le'Veon Bell was here during that short stint, and he was actually a backup. He wasn't even leading the way. So what's your thoughts as far as with this potential signing, and do you think that the Steelers need some type of a veteran presence? Because it looks like they're lost right now, and they're not getting that veteran guidance or leadership from the coaching. What direction you think they should go into? I'm gonna pass it on to you, Jim.
You know what, man? I've never seen, in all the years I was watching football, and maybe you or Chris have seen it, where an offensive line is so great at pass blocking, but cannot run block to save their life. And now with all the injuries that's happening, and now Connor is hurt, I would like to, get a running back. But hey, listen, we're gonna win or die with the pass right now. We don't
Yeah.
have a guard right now. I do like a couple years ago coming out of Maryland, Derwin Gray. Steelers drafted him as a tackle, but I always thought he'd be better suited as a guard. So he may be in there promoted this week. He's 6'4", about 330 pounds, out of Maryland. I think Kevin Dotson is going to be a future great run blocker.
Yeah.
To figure it out. But hey, right now, for whatever reason, we're not running. I would love to get somebody in here in the future where the Pittsburgh Steelers are prioritized to run a little bit more, like a Kareem Hunt, somebody that can catch 7-8 passes a game, and still satisfy being in that area. But when you're paying somebody that much money that a Kareem Hunt or somebody like that would demand, then your practice time and your coaching and your offensive line will put a more emphasis on the run, like they did with Le'Veon Bell, because you can't be that great as a pass blocking team and can't run at all. I mean, even the fool the defense, if you're passing 53 times a game, you should be able to fool the defense with a run. There should be a hole that
Yeah.
you can drive a truck through, and we're just not seeing that, man. And I'm really puzzled about it.
Yeah, I think I actually showed a highlight, where people are saying, look, we can't run the ball in short yardage situations, but there's times where we are running the ball and they're picking up the first down. It seemed like Coach Randy had just decided, like, hey, we want to get away from the run for whatever the reason is. I'm thinking it has to have something to do with practice, where maybe they're practicing this way and the defense is whipping that ass in practice, and they're going into the real game and they're like, oh no, look, we've seen you guys in practice, we've seen enough, we're just going to pass the ball. We'll work this out later. I mean, especially when you look at some of the injuries and things like that we've been dealing with, like you said, on the offensive line. So hopefully, they'll be able to get it together.
But the Steelers also, I didn't realize they got rid of Winooski. I mean, that was their big offseason acquisition. He did get injured, but he was coming back off the injured reserve, and this is a guy that could play backup, both guard
multiple
and
positions.
center. Yeah,
and then what did they do? Did they sign his backup? Like, by my understanding, he went back to Kansas City, and then they signed the guy that was sitting behind him. So who's making these decisions? It's like, and Chris, I know you missed last week, but I mean, like, this stuff is starting to become hilariously funny, because it's like there's a lot of things that can change just over a week. Like, we just praised the coaching staff and the organization for a lot of the good things that they've done, throughout the season. And we said we weren't even going to question them, but now they're making moves that we're scratching our head and we have to question them. Like, what was your thought as far as with that move?
I mean, literally, you can't tell what the hell they think sometimes. And honestly, with them, you got to remember, it could be the stupidest thing. You mean they don't just look at play; they look at aspect, they look at attitude, they look at what the player can bring to the organization. Yeah. They look at like I heard now, they look at these new recruits, like they'll look and see if check around to see, like I heard that they was looking like people's IGs and shit like that to see what they do if they go out.
Yeah.
Make sure they're not getting a troublemaker. Make sure they're not getting someone that does drama. Make sure they're not at the bar all the time drinking. So mean, I feel that. Maybe I don't know. Maybe there was something we didn't know. I don't know, because that just, to me, honestly, that seems like a stupidest decision ever. Especially when he's coming back, and it was not a serious injury.
Yeah.
So I mean, he would have been just fine back on his feet. But like I said, you never know with these organizations what they do and what's going on behind the scenes with shit like that. I mean, look what we didn't even know that Ben was fighting that whole damn time with half the receiver corps before. I mean, they kept that quiet. We didn't know none of that shit.
Yeah.
No one knew anything about that. So they're good at keeping quiet stuff. We didn't find out till way after everything was going on. And they're like, yeah, Antonio Brown's leaving. Fuck this, fuck that. We're like, wait, what time? What the fuck? Wait, we were just winning. Like, so they're good at hiding their shit. So I mean, like I said, there
was it Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde? Like this is what we have here. It's like
yeah. So like I said, they have to have another reason, because honestly, like us three can see it logically, but they did something. They did it for some reason. So like I said, maybe they had some other reason to do it, but you never know with this shit. That's how I look at all that stuff. When they do something and I'm like, you know what? Something probably got fucked up. He maybe missed the piss test, did something like this. They caught him doing some dumb shit, because for a minute there, I actually heard that Terrell Pryor almost came here.
This season, or
Pittsburgh was really looking at it
last year.
Something
was that before or after he got stabbed?
Before.
It was before. There was a fight or something.
That's what happened. He got stabbed.
No, there was a fight.
That was the end of it.
No, there was a fight that happened at one of the bars, and that's what happened, from what I understand.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought he got stabbed in his apartment or something like that. I was pushing for him or Deshaun Jackson to come.
Yeah, that was way after all that. Yeah, I'm actually friends with him. He's a good friend of mine.
Hey, Chris,
okay.
He was at the club. He was at the club, and he wasn't even the one involved in it. He was like, he was there running his mouth screaming because they was talking. Someone called him out of his name, and his boys got upset and defensive, and ended up getting in a big fight, and it just looked bad on his part. And after that, quit hearing about them talking about him, and I was like, oh man, you gotta be kidding me. So like I said,
hey Chris, let me ask you this: do you think Terrell Pryor regrets leaving Cleveland, because he's a Pro Bowl receiver for Cleveland, and that town loved him? You know?
Yeah, he even said it. He even said that that was one of his favorite places. But he was just trying to get in the league and just do what he could do. It was pretty much wherever he could go at that point. When he sensed that it wasn't going to work out for him, he just basically was trying to travel somewhere else to keep it moving. Like, this dude still trains 24/7.
Wow. Yeah, I bumped into him a few times, man, and he's huge, man. He's huge. I don't see why he's not on the team.
Huge.
Yeah.
Like I said,
but hey, Chris is right, because man, back in the day, I was friends with former Steeler general manager Tom Donahoe, and he gave me his personal number, and he was like, man, if you see Worley or Air Green or Yancey Thigpen, give me a call. They was always out there. I never snitched on them, but they knew. That's why when most of them, when their contracts was coming up to get that big money, man, they let them go, because them cats, man.
They was out there partying.
Oh man, sometimes they was staggering in. They was just coming in on game time. Man.
You know what? I'm glad you said that, and I'm gonna let you jump in here, Chris. But that's one of the things I'm wondering, like, are these teams factoring this in? Because we're dealing with a lot of these drop passes, and Eric Ebron, like, he just keeps floating on my social media page, but his wife is floating on my social media page too. And I'm like,
really?
Man, Eric Ebron's wife is bad, man. Like, I'm going to put her in a clip so that, all the viewers can actually see her. But I'm like, do some of these players have off-field distractions? Like, because I know if I have a wife like that, I might be dropping a couple passes on the field every now and then too. I'm not all in Deontay Johnson's business, but I'm wondering, like, okay, what's going on? Is there something off the field that has you occupied? Because, like, a lot of these players, man, like, you just go on their IG, they're out here having a good time, man. They're living life out here, man, for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, you guys. But let's kick it over here, man. We pretty much recapped everything for week 14. Let's kick it to the Cincinnati Bengals, week 15. Steelers it's a road trip. Again, we've had back-to-back losses here for the first time this season. What do the Steelers have to do to go to Cincinnati and walk out with a W? With everything that we're dealing with. I know a lot of people are forgetting this past game, and I actually kind of told a lot of individuals this. I'm like, if you look at how the Steelers defense performed during that first half, we dominated. If we can just get the offense just to play a little bit better and to click a little bit more,
Yep.
We should be fine. We're going to have a few players that, were out this past game that may be coming back. I'm not sure how healthy Spillane's going to be. He may be out this game, but I know that Joe Hayden, he's clocked in. He said he's out of concussion protocol. He's ready to go. Vince Williams, he's coming back from COVID protocol. He's ready to go. You factor it in with some of the players that we were able to get back last week with Nelson coming back. And I know he gave up that one big play where it looked like he slipped and Stephon Diggs was able to get that one touchdown, but he had a halfway decent game. He's saying he's just getting into mid-season form with Joe Hayden being out and all the targets and everything that he was able to receive. Boswell looked like he, got past whatever it was that he was dealing with his hip, and he was out there kicking this past week. So it looks like we're starting to get a little bit healthy. So, if we can do that and get some of these players in, I personally don't see anything, happening here with Cincinnati. I think that this may be, a good bounce back game for us to transition and get ready for the following week against Indianapolis. What's everyone else's thoughts? I'm gonna keep it there with you, Chris. What's the keys to victory?
As long as we go in there right, we'll be all right. I mean, we still got their D-backs. I mean, they're definitely not Buffaloes. So, I mean, we have a better chance. We have a better chance of getting some passes off. Let's put it that way. I think we honestly need to work a little bit more on our ground game is what we need to do. We need to start pounding a little bit more and develop one. We're not a full offense until we're a double threat. So we need to get this ground game going. I think this game should be a pretty good game to do that on. I think we should give it to Connor, pound him a little bit, let him get back to his groove, get back in his sense of everything. And I think that's really going to help our offensive pass game too. So I think we have the targets. I'm pretty sure they got their asses chewed to death already from the last two games from Tomlin. I guarantee that. That. I mean, they probably got Johnson walking around with balls taped to his hands. They're not playing. This is probably going old school.
Yeah, I was going to ask you there too, Chris. What about with all the celebrations? I know what he went to the 50, and he did his little pregame ritual.
Now, let me put it this way: when you start messing with a player's juju, that's when you start fucking with his game.
Yeah.
Each player has their own thing. I mean, I learned that with every sport I've ever played. I could be sitting next to a dude, he's banging heavy metal Metallica. Or some Death Knot. And I'm over here listening to this dude banging some country. And I'm over here with rap. Everybody had their own thing. So everybody has their own zones. Some quiet, some keep to themselves. Some are over there punching the locker and screaming top of their fucking lungs trying to fight. Everybody has their own thing. Juju's is him getting in his little groove, his little, as he calls it, Liddy. He's trying to get in. Yeah. Once he gets in his little swag, he always plays better. Always plays better. So he's trying to get to his zone. So his little things right there, plus the other players, they run with it, they love it, they jump with it, they get excited, and it gives them something to push for too. I think all that stuff actually gives a lot to him. I seen Alan's little comment, leave him dancing, running, and we'll stick to the work. Yeah, shut the hell up, bro. If it was all that, your record would be better. Shut the hell up. You talking shit like y'all just won. You only lost one game, so we dance all day. We've been dancing a couple more W's than you this year. You got us on the game. Our team was sick, tired, and we were at a loss with fucking COVID and injuries. So woohoo, you beat some third string players and a couple injured people. You know what I mean, good for you. But I guarantee you, with our full steam, you ain't got a damn chance in hell to beat us. And I promise
yes.
I
And
promise that.
I'm actually hoping we run
kicked the
into
wounded dog. You mean we were down, we were injured. Like I said, when I heard the Bills, I got a little worried. You mean I'm not gonna lie, because they were not weak, and I knew we were hurting, so I kind of expected a little bit of an ass whooping, but I didn't expect it to lose. You mean I'm a Steelers fan. I try to keep my hope above my pride, so I was still, you mean, hoping on a win, but you mean it happens. But I think that you said listed everybody coming back from COVID, everybody coming back from injury, plus the ones that did come back, they're only coming back one game. They got to get warmed back up. So I think that, I don't think we're going to be close to where we need to be next game. But I don't think, I don't like to say this the wrong way. I'm glad that it's that game that we get the chance to keep warming back up on a little bit. Let me put it that way.
Against Cincinnati.
Yeah, because it's a little, to me, that's a little softer blow than the rest of them. So we can kind of get our guys back to where they need to be on this game, stretch them out, and then be ready for the rest. Go from there. Cincinnati's not a weaker team. They're not a bad team, but they're just not, they're the worst of what we got to face. Let me put it that way, as I look at it in my eyes. So I'm glad this game is next. At all the people we have to play still, I'm looking at it as they're the weaker team of all of them. Let's put it that way. I'm not taking from them. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, definitely, especially seeing that, what Joe Burrow, he's not going to be suiting up. He's out for the rest of the season. So we're playing against the backups. I was going to ask you, Jim, what's your thoughts? Could this potentially be a trap game? Or do you think Cincinnati, they're trying to, potentially play for a draft seating right now?
All the Steelers got to do is roll their helmet out there, and they're going to win by at least 17 points. Hey, listen, I just can't believe Monday Night Football kept it on the schedule. I just knew they'd bump them back to Sunday and move somebody else in there.
I don't think they can flex Monday nights. I think they can only flex Sunday nights.
Okay, that's the reason, because I was shocked that they kept this game, man. Hey, listen, Ben has always played well against Cincinnati because there was one of his hometown team that passed on him. Yeah. Backup quarterback. I think Joe Mixon is out as well. The Pittsburgh Steelers are mad. They're frustrated. They're upset. And the Pittsburgh Steelers record on Monday Night Football going back decades has always been great. They're a primetime team playing a primetime game. There's no mercy on Cincinnati. They're not going to take no mercy on Cincinnati, man. A lot of these guys should have big games, and what a great season, man. That gets us up to 12 victories, man. That ain't bad at all.
Yeah. And this definitely should be a game that, players like Avery Williamson, like I see them getting into the mix, getting those additional reps and eating out there. What he had 9 tackles this past game, I could definitely see this as a game of him feeling himself and, preparing himself for this late playoff stretch, because this is going to be the last game. Like the next 2 games after this, it's playoff ball. Indianapolis Colts, that's a playoff team. Cleveland, you're looking at them, they're going to probably make the playoffs this season. So it's playoff ball. We can't afford to take another loss. They need to get it together, so that we can take this thing and shoot for 7 this year, man. We got it. We just need to fix a few things.
and plus they're playing for something. This is for they can lock up the North. They can knock up the division with this victory. So they got
so we got to get it done. We got to get it done. Any final thoughts here, Chris?
Listen, I just, like I said, as long as we come healthy, we get back to where we got to be, we're fine. People, I just wish people wouldn't turn their back so damn fast. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that. They're like, fire Tomlin, throwaway ban, get rid of this problem. Holy shit, like, chill. Like, I hate to see how stressful your lives are. As soon as something does that, you're trying to jump off bridges. Like,
oh man, hey man, look, it's changed. Like, I'm hearing a lot of people now, and they're talking about Juju, and I'm like, Juju is Juju. He's been doing this. Like, and another thing is a big shout out to Juju. What I think he put over at least like 15, 20K paying off individuals layaways at Burlington's Coke Factory for the holidays. Like, man, I'm Team Juju right now, man. If you want to go out there and dance, go out there and dance, back that shit up. And if you take a L, bounce back. You know, just like us, we come and we beat someone on the road. We're playing take over your trap. You know, if you come here to Pittsburgh, you beat us, I'm assuming you're going to do the same thing. Like, I think, you know, a lot of these things are kind of blown out of proportion. You know, but if the Steelers, we can get past some of the hate that we're dealing with right now, man, and like I said, get some players healthy again, man. We should be good to go.
I agree.
Like I said, I think Cincinnati is going to be probably a dominant primetime performance. It's the perfect setting for the Steelers just to show the world, like, hey, listen here, we lost a couple players. You know, we had 3 games in 12 days. You guys, you writing us off for dead. No, here we are. We blew out Cincinnati. Now we're coming on. Indy, get ready. Cleveland, we're coming after that ass. Because remember, we still haven't went out there and beat them in Cleveland since that whole situation. And I know they're going to keep bringing that up as well.
Yes,
you know, Cleveland's turned up. You know, but yeah, we should be in good shape. And we could just stay healthy, man. We could turn some of these things around, in my opinion.
I agree 100%, bro.
For sure. Well, all right, you guys, man, we're going to leave it there, man. Make sure you follow us on social media, Sports Talk Football PGH. My guy, Chris Kane, make sure that you follow him on Instagram, on all social media platforms. And make sure that you check out Smoking Jim Frazier. I'm going to keep calling you. Your nickname is Joe for me now on, man. As I keep getting Jim and Joe, man. It always just slips out, man. But make sure you check out Jim on the Championship Chase film weekly here in the Pittsburgh area. And I think he actually just dipped off for the taping of that. So be on the lookout for that. And we'll catch you guys next week. Go Steelers.
Yep.
Bang, bang.